Let's take a look at Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So this is a great pose to grab a block for and sit on because our hips are going to be flexing here, okay? And to reduce that hip flexion, we can give ourselves a little bit of space. Now, one way to get into the pose, if you maybe have really strong hips or are feeling flexible that day, is to start seated and swing one leg around, stacking the knees more or less on top of each other. If they're not stacked, don't stress it. We're just going in that general direction of knees getting over each other, all right? Now, you're gonna probably wiggle and squirm to find your way, but of course every day is different, and like I said, don't stress it if it doesn't look the way you think it should look. It should just feel good on your hips, all right? Now, if you feel some cramping in the top of your hips, great time to grab that block, like I said, elevate your hips a little, and then try this again, right? Swing one leg over the top, and that's gonna give you some space here. Rather than scrunching those hips up, it's opening them a little bit more to reduce that intense flexion. Now, just like in pigeon pose, if your feet are further forward, it's gonna intensify the stretch. If your feet are further back, closer into your hips, it's gonna feel a little more accessible probably. And of course, you have some options. You can lean forward here to intensify the stretch. Again, I'm reducing the angle between my legs and my torso, so more flexion. Or sit more upright, maybe even lean back a little to reduce that flexion and make it a little more accessible. Now, let me show you from the side. We could go into the same thing on this side, or if it's hard from a seated position to swing that leg around, another great entry point for Gomukhasana is to start kneeling and then step one knee, maybe stabilize with your hands, one knee back behind the other. Spread the feet out pretty wide, wide enough for your hips, and then slowly sit back. Find your block, find a seat, and now you're in the same pose. And you can wiggle the feet as much as you want, bring them forward. Might not look pretty, but again, should feel good, right? And then play with your cow face pose there. Now let's talk about the arms. Eventually the arms will be doing this crazy crisscross thing where they're grabbing each other back here. But if that doesn't feel accessible just yet, we have a few different entry points, a few different ways to get into this. The first thing you can do is reach one arm up and over, and instead of going for your back, reach for the front of that shoulder. Now with my opposite hand, I'm gonna grab the fingertips and just gently pull down. I've got the same stretch going in the tricep and the same or very similar reach here. And then for the bottom arm, I'm gonna turn around to show you this one. For the bottom arm, I could reach underneath and up, and then with the opposite arm, take that elbow and try to grab the elbow and press it up a little. You can also, if you do both arms at once, grab a strap. This is one of my favorite poses to use a strap for. Take it in one arm, hold it behind your back, and then reach back with the lower arm and grab the strap. Maybe work toward walking your hand up the strap. Now, let's talk about the rotation here. If we reach both arms out, palms facing down, the top arm, in this case I'm going to use my right arm as the top arm is going to rotate upward, which is an external rotation, thumb up, right? And then the bottom arm is going to internally rotate or rotate down, thumbs down. Get it? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Bend at the elbow, find the back, and wiggle around for those fingers. Also, you could grab the strap like we did a second ago and reach for the strap. All right, now from the other side, we'll do the same thing again, both palms.
Okay, well, we had a bit of a technical difficulty here, so just bear with me as I talk you through the rest of this. So both palms down. This time, left thumb goes up, right thumb goes down. Bend at the elbows as the left arm goes up, back and around. Right arm goes down, under, and up, reaching for the hands at the back. Now, technically, cow face pose is arms and legs at the same time, which I don't usually personally practice that way, but technically that's how the pose is. And I always forget which arm is on top, which leg is on top, how to coordinate the whole thing. It's very confusing. So let's try to nail this down once and for all. So let's get into it. Right now, I've got my right leg on top, right knee on top. And it's going to be the opposite for the arms. So if the right leg is on top, then the left arm will be on top. So reach out, Left arm goes on top, so left thumb goes up here. Right thumb goes down. And with the left arm, reach up and around. Reach for the hands at the back. You can always use the strap. And you can stay right here or start to lean forward with a flat back and an open chest. And of course, if you're doing the other side, we can go through one of my favorite transitions here where you plant the feet, lift up the hips and do a little spin twirl around, settle the hips down, and now you've got the opposite leg on top. You're already set up for the other side. So now I've got my left leg on top, which means it'll be the opposite arm on top. So left leg, right arm. Got it? And as long as you can remember your opposites, you've got it. This is cow face pose.